So you've already probably seen this, but Meta just recently overhauled their entire ad algorithm. They've implemented a whole bunch of hardware, and it only cares about one thing, and that is your ad creative. You need to create hundreds, if not thousands, of original pieces of creative so that Meta can actually serve it to the right customers. And if you don't provide Meta with enough ad creative, you're going to end up wasting thousands of dollars and collecting a list of spam emails. Trust me, we've done it. We've been there before. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can implement systems to create ad creatives at scale so that it doesn't take up all your time and you can actually keep building your app. Let's jump in. All right, so if you're already making static ads, you need to turn those into video ads, right? Static ads are going to help you find the messaging that resonates with your key customer. So we have a whole bunch of people out there, but we need to figure out using statics who this person is, because this is our ideal customer. These ones here, we don't want them. We want this one down here. So I recently saw a post from Ben Heath, who's a market leader in Meta ads. He took a poll with his audience that showed that they are getting far better results and better quality leads using video. But how do you actually transfer the messaging from the statics into creating video ads? With the right systems in place, you can scale video ads just like the pros. Actually makes it really easy to scale video ads without too much effort. Every winning ad starts before the camera even gets turned on. You need to write multiple hooks and align what works with the statics. So there's the old saying, I believe it's the 6 Ps. Prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. Very Australian. The more I do this, the more I see that it's the truth, right? We'll see that in this video, a lot of what we're going to cover is going to be in this pre-production phase. So in the preparation phase, that's where we're going to spend a lot of time, because when you put the effort in there, you're going to save all the time recording and then obviously in post-production, which is all the editing pieces. Before you even start writing your hooks, you're going to need enough data to figure out what works. So this is where we're using the statics. So all of our little statics here that have gone out and done their thing in the internet, we've tested lots of them and we've figured out this one and this one work, right? So from there, these are also considered our angles. So usually you'd run like an ad set with multiple angles and you're testing different angles that work. So for us, it could, like, we have client stress or too many tools, or, you know, like if you're trying to be a top performer, these are kind of angles that we hit pain points of that we found in the businesses that we work for. Now, if you don't do that, you're just burning energy, right? You're just wasting time because you actually have no idea what's working. So you're going to be creating videos for things and you're going to basically be doing the heavy lifting in the videos because they do require more time and effort. But the great thing is, if you use statics, it's very easy to find out what does work. So go back, do the statics, and once you've got that data, you can actually move on to this next stage. Another thing you want to also make sure is your attribution. So what that basically means is which ads are building the highest value, so the highest value leads. It's not just about which one gets the most conversions or the most numbers. It's about which one's giving us the best quality. So you need to track that. So you need to figure out which type of customer spends the most money with us, stays the longest with us, is the best to work with. Like ideally, like you don't want to work with everyone. You only want to work with a select few. And there's a lot of those people. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of people in your select few niche. You want to figure out what's the highest value. With that, you can then move forward. So it's very important to get this attribution, because once we know that, we can now start doing the work. So you're going to know from your statics, from your attributions, what's driving the best quality lead. We need to know that first. Once you've found that, now we need to create our hooks. So now we know the angle. So it could be client stress. We're now going to generate multiple hooks that push on this point. What are the points that actually push on this? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you what we've done here in Clipflow as an example. We found these winning angles. So we had stress and chaos, and then we've gone and created 10 different hooks based on the same thing. So stress and chaos, content deadlines shouldn't feel like panic attacks. Too many tools is like still juggling 3+ apps to do your work. This is very Clipflow specific, but you can do the same for your business. It depends on what your business does and find those pain points and then create multiple hooks. We've done this pre-production and we've created 50 different hooks. Those are the things that are going to stop the scroll. So we also want to add visual things and we also want to add text things there. And this will introduce the pain point, which will be the same pain point you've introduced in your static ads. We use this here to figure out what our pain points are. So we got our pain point, which we're now going to go and iterate through in the body, or we're going to keep pushing on it. So our bodies here are now, we're going to think about writing these bodies, and we're going to keep pressing on that pain. We're going to keep highlighting. We're going to say, cool, you're having stress here when you're signing clients. And then you're going to say, what does that feel like? What does that look like, right? So we're going to press on the pain further. This is basically just, I think, standard marketing you would usually use. For instance, if we have a look here, so we do these hooks, right? And then we have our meat and potatoes, as we call it. So we really only wrote one body per thing, and then I kind of riffed on that and just changed it up slightly by adding it in just a different place. So it comes down in the recording. But what we say here, so stress and chaos is like we start pushing on the tension. Most agencies break the second they sign more than 5 clients. Deadlines get missed. Slack threads get buried, and the team spends more time chasing files than creating content, right? We've got dozens of agency burnout like this. The ones that fix it, they grow faster. So now you're giving like a little bit of proof, right? So this is real stuff. We've talked to people, so we're not making it up. Make sure you don't make things up in your ads. Actually get real data. And then the solution is, you don't need more tools, you need one system. And then we're kind of giving the mechanism. What does the one system actually benefit you? And then we're selling them the future. What does it look like if you use our solution? Instead of chaos every time you add a client, you scale calmly, knowing your team can handle the load. That's an example of using the hooks to then write the body to handle the CTAs, right? So the bodies will push on the pain and start selling the end result solution and ideal outcome. Now your CTAs, so the call to action. So what do you want this person to do when they actually click on this ad? So now we have our CTA. This needs to be clear, very clear, so that they know exactly what's going to happen, exactly the next step. So usually it's going to be like, click the link, because like we're using the internet, and then explain to them what's happening next. So for our case, it's like, click the link to check out the platform and sign up. Now it could be you're looking for an email. So it's like, click the link on the next page, fill in your email, and then I'm going to send you this thing. So you could be looking for leads like that. It could be like, click the link and we'll jump on a discovery call once you fill in the form. But give it very clear steps so the user knows what's happening. Your landing page should also reflect what's happened in the ad. So spend the time making landing pages that look like the ads. We've all seen these ads where, you've clicked on, there's like, it usually happens in e-commerce, but you click on an ad for some specific item and then you land on a landing page with just their homepage. And you're like, well, I'm not going to go and spend time trying to dig through this to find the thing. Make sure that ad goes to the actual product so that then the user's like, cool, I'll buy. I'm sold. Let me buy. Don't add any friction here. You want this to be very clean. So for what we've done is we've created landing pages that speak to the message of the ad. So if it's like client stress is the ad, then on the landing page will be like, no more stress, or work without stress, or less stress, less chaos, etc. So we on the ads we talk about client stress. On the landing page we talk about the solution to delivering client content effortlessly. What's the opposite of stress? Is effortless. Make sure your things are all cohesive and talk through. So now, focusing on the hooks is going to be everything in your video ads. So the hooks is what stops people scrolling. If you don't stop the scroll, you're not even going to get the view. So you're just going to waste that money. So it's going to cost you whatever it does, cost you a couple of, 5 cents for every view or something, whatever your CPM or your cost per milli is. You need to stop that scroll so that you can actually get people to watch it. Now, the better your ads, the lower your CPM is going to be. Facebook and Meta are going to serve them up better because people almost find them entertaining. You see the best ads are quite entertaining and they're memorable and people want to watch them. They want to share them. That's how you know you're going a great ad. So make sure we focus on our hooks and then you script everything so you can test them. And then do all this. This is why we want volume, is because we want to do a lot so we can test them, right? What we're trying to do here is we need to create volume. And at this stage, this is like, yeah, cool, Ken. I've heard everyone say create volume. And we're going to keep moving forward and actually talk about what that actually looks like. Because that was the same for me, right? Like I knew I had to create volume, but I had no idea on how to do that. Now, you're a business owner, right? You own a business, you run a business, you got stuff on. You got things to do. You don't want to be making content. So realistically, we need this to be what we call low lift. It means effortless. It means it's super easy. It means it's something you're actually going to do. And this is really key for me because I've got things on. I don't want to spend my entire day filming content. It's tiring. I want to run the business. I want to grow the business. So how do we do this practically? For me, what that looks like is using one of these guys, right? So I just use an Osmo Pocket. I'm not sponsored by these people. I just think it's a great product. But I love it's got a little stand. You turn it on. You have your little mic and you just go. And for me, that's super easy. So I'm not pulling up like my camera gear, my lighting, all this kind of stuff. You don't need that. All that does is add production roadblocks. So how do you actually film this volume that we're talking about? So the way that I'm doing it, which I think is very, very handy, and I've seen a few people talk about this in the past, but it's like one hook and then into 4 locations. And I do this with the body as well. And I do this with the CTA as well. So realistically, we end up with a multiplier. And this is where you get this whole volume principle, right? I get to film one hook. So I say the same thing in 4 different spots. So it creates variation. It creates different visual hooks. So I'll try and do something different. I'll move in a different way. One, I'll step in. One, I'll be sitting. One, I'll be holding a plant, whatever it is. You create some sort of visual hook that makes people go like, what is this thing? Many people talk about visual hooks and stuff. You also want to do that, right? Now, that allows you to test the messaging. And we also want to figure out what locations resonate. So when I jump out, does that do better than when I just stand sitting? If I'm sitting in front of I'm in a farm area, so if I'm standing in front of a cow, does that have a better visual hook than when I'm in my office? You want to figure these things out. So while recording all the hooks in one location, I then record the body in 2 to 4 locations as well. This allows us to create dynamic and interesting ads and allows our editors to cut between. So I say the exact same script, but in 4 different places, and allows our editors to cut between so they can it jumps shots and it creates visual interest, but I'm saying the same sentence. So it allows them to cut. It's a very cool way of just actually getting more and more interesting content. And you can also just run each ad individually. So if you just want to film the whole thing in one spot, you can try that as well. And one recording session then turns into a lot of options. So we recorded here. So we had 10 hooks like this, and this is where a little bit of maths comes in. And then we've got 4 locations, right? And then we've got 2 to 3. So let's just call it 3 CTAs because that's actually what I did. So what are we talking here? So we've got 40 or 120. So per angle, and now we had 5 angles. So what do we have there? We have 600 unique vids. Because what you're doing is you're being able to chop and change. You can say, okay, well, I'm going to use this hook, then this body, then the CTA, and then you just get a multiplier because you can just creating all these variants. So what we get to do is we get to test which hook works for the same body, which body performs well. It just gives you a lot of variation. You now have 600 pieces of ads to upload to Meta, and that's a whole different story. Get unlucky on that. It's a very slow process. But for months, even, you get content to test. So your ads never get stale. People don't see the same ad. Just purely on just the amount of hooks that you've got right there, right? You've got 10 hooks, you've got 40 hooks and 5 angles. You've got 200 different starting videos. That's amazing, right? So you're getting heaps of volume. Now your team, and we're getting to test messaging across visual, text, and audio. And our team can just take that and cut it. And secretly behind the scenes, Zach, our head of content, worked on a really cool way of doing this and actually stitching these together. So if you're interested in that, let me know because I'll get old Zach to come and share his secrets on that. Very, very cool stuff. So what we're getting out of this is we're getting a lean filming process, simple gear, repeatable angles, and makes testing at scale very possible. So we get to do this. We want to make it easy. We can do this very quickly. And we can actually get up and go outside and do it. Took me about 2 hours, to be honest. But I'm doing that, and now the team, we have ads for days. Now we need to talk about step 3, and this is getting better. It's improvement. We always want to get better, get that 1% better each time. This is how you become a master. If we can constantly improve, we're going to constantly get better, and then one day you're going to be amazing. So we've got all our ads running now. We've built all these out, and now we're actually starting to collect data. But now what? What do we do next? So similar to our statics, we want to also find out what are the winning combinations and hooks. So there's a little metric you can find inside of Meta. So what you can do inside of Meta is use the hook rate. So you can set this up, Google it, it's very easy. And you can figure out which videos are hooking. So these are your top performing hooks, right? So we want to work this out. This is the stuff that's stopping people scrolling. These are rookie numbers. So please, we're just learning. But this is getting decent. I think around 30% hook rate or plus is what you want to aim for. If you can do that, that means you're getting people to actually stop the scroll. And then obviously what we want to watch for also importantly is conversions. Which ones are converting? And you can see this one's actually lower hook rate, but actually better converting. It has had smaller reach because Facebook isn't serving this yet. So we'll see how these play out. So now that we've got that, we can figure out what's the best performing. So when you know what's actually performing, right? So you're going to find the same thing. We're going to find out what's the best one here? What's the best video? We're going to find that and then we're going to make more. So once we have that angle, the hook, we want to go and make more of these videos. And this is where we think that what we're actually going to do now is we're going to try different styles, editing styles, different approaches to the same hook. So the same hook presented, but presented in a slightly different way. We're going to use different visual hooks. We're going to use text hooks. We're going to, now spend a bit more time, maybe even on production to make them look better, more professional, and then test those. So we're going to keep updating and refining until we find the one with the highest conversion rate. Same thing as the statics, but here now we're using video. We're doing the similar process and we just keep iterating. And ultimately the goal is to find the ad that, and they like to say this in the business, that prints. the goal is to find the ad that prints money. Because once you have that ad and you know it works, you just pour cash into it and it's just going to return more cash because that's what you want. And you want to see like a 10x plus return on an ad spend. Because really what you want to see, like, well, I can spend $100 to get the customer, but the customer's worth to me $1,000 on the back. You know what you're doing? You're putting for every $1 in, you're getting $10 out. Now you've got a money machine. And this is where we were trying to get to with these ads. But it does take time and it does take a bit of refinement. I wanted to share this with everyone because this is something that I couldn't really grasp mentally. I know I had to make more, but didn't know how to do it very simply. And this way really helps. And it's a very easy way. And we've already seen how it already converts at a better level for us. We're already seeing like the conversions and leads that come through video tend to be of a higher quality. So finally, what do we need? Just to sum it up. So we're going to go summary here. We need pre-production. This is number one. If that's all you do, just do that, please. Pre-production is going to help. People preach this all the time and I just never did it. You just see how much better everything comes out when you actually spend the time. Number two is we want to film. That's a repeatable process. That's what we want. And we want it to be easy. I want this to be easy, right? I've got things to do. Number three, we want to test constantly. So we keep the good and we get rid of the bad. And then finally, it's like, and that's how we're going to create ads at scale like the grown-ups do. I don't know about you, but I definitely want to be a grown-up. I want to learn how the big boys make the big money. That's it all there. If you like these videos, please let us know. Please let us know what you're doing and how you're testing your video ads. Share with us what works, what doesn't work. There's a whole bunch of stuff everyone can learn from. And if you like this kind of content as well, please like and subscribe because we are making more and more. We do obviously want to know what it is that everyone wants to see. We did build a big business in the past and we're doing it again. So come along for the journey, see how we're doing it, see how we're thinking through it. And hopefully you can learn something else to apply to your business so you can also grow. But until next time, we'll catch you on the next one.